we are. Excuse me. There is nobody who knows who we are born. See, who we are born. And there is nobody who knows we died. See? But we don't know much about what's going on right now, right here. This is a very strange thing. This is a very wonderful thing because we don't know much about the beginning. We don't know much about the beginning, and we don't know much about the end. Why we know much about what's going on right now, right here? We don't know much about the beginning. We don't know much about the end, but we know much about what's going on right now. You see, this is such a wondrous, strange things. But people never just have any doubt, any question about this reality. See, if you have a kind of doubt or question about what this reality, you'll be able to just figure out who you are. You see, we don't know much about the beginning. We don't know much about we are born. We don't know much about we died. But we know much about what's going on. That's not that. That's a strange, or that's such a strange, yes, wondrous thing. See, we never be able to just know much about what's going on because we don't know much about the beginning. We don't know much about the end. You see, but we know much about what's going on right here, right now. This is delusion. This is delusion. But people never just recognize this reality. See, delusion. Because we don't know much about beginning. We don't know much about the end. We have to know. We never know what's going on right now, right here. But people know much about what's going on here, right now, right here. This is totally delusion. This things causes trouble, question, suffering. The thing is very clear because this delusion, only this delusion causes trouble, question, problem, whatever, suffering. See? Then if you can just realize this reality, see, you have to do zazen. Once you just drop away. Once you just drop away the before recognition, then you will be able to accept this reality. Yeah. That's the reason we have to do zazen. You see, we don't know much about what's happened before recognition. before recognition. See? Only just people knows much about what's going on here with after recognition. After recognition is another truth. That's a creation of the thinking or thought. That is another truth. But unfortunately, as far as human being, as far as the human, only this fact, after recognition, just happen in our mind. What people thinking about these things were after recognition. After recognition is true, but entirely different, entirely misunderstanding. See, what's happening in your mind is just creation of a thinking also. That is not a reality. That is not a truth. See, reality or truth is before recognition. But you never just recognize. You never be able to recognize what's happened before recognition, because that's the things just happen in before recognition never come out in your mind, unfortunately. So only you know much about what's going on. Here is with or by the after recognition. After recognition is not a truth. So the people are entirely deceived by thinking and so on. This is a cause. These things the causes. These things cause us question, problem, whatever, suffering. See? So we have to make clear these things. See, within our life. See, only one chance. See, this is that. See, the more you just do that, or in another word, the more you just release thinking or thought, this is zazen. The more you just release thinking or thought, the more you just become as you faced right now, right here. Eventually, there is no separation between this and that. This is this. That is before recognition. That is a stage of before recognition. The only zazen you'll be able to the zazen will be able to lead you this stage. See, only zazen. So whole time being whatever just whatever just thinking or thought is coming out in your mind. You simply just release as this is zazen. Right. So we go back to today's text. Today's text is 71. 71 is yes. We are born without knowing. As I just mentioned about before. See, we just came out kind of a space, kind of a planet. The name is Earth. See, without knowing. Then we just live in this planet without knowing, without awareness. But very unfortunately, the time comes This time is a so-called monokolosky. I don't know much about what you say in English, but after certain years, after certain year after you were born, this time just come up. Then before this time, what you think about the function of recursion never work. Although it's a provided, it's a provided what you call the body, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So as long as the function of recursion doesn't work, see, there is no separation. There is no separation between this and that. So that children never know much about what's going on, what's going on with you right now, right here. So. But time comes, and then all of a sudden, the function of recognition just start working, moving. Then there is a certain separation between this and that, and then what you call the suffering of a human being just start. See, before this time, children or kids never have any trouble or question at all, because function of recognition doesn't work. Very great. They don't have any trouble. But at this moment, at this time, come, then kind of the function of recognition just starts working. Then there is certain separation between this and this. See, this causes us trouble and question. Nothing else. No, nothing else. Only this. Only this just bring us such a tremendous, huge trouble. This is a human being's trouble. Nothing else. So once you just recognize, once you just recognize this moment, this time, then you'll be able to figure out any problem. And what people just call this moment enlightenment. Enlightenment. Okay. So what Jinen Roshi just said is, in the same way that we don't know the existence of a human being, or all the occurrences of the universe itself, because as I just mentioned, people just this is very hard to just express in English. See, before recognition, nothing exists at all. See, so as I just mentioned before, see, kid just was born. Our children or baby just were born without awareness, without knowing. So then a time, this time just come. Then before this time, although all the function of recognition just provided, but it doesn't work. So there is no separation between this and this. See, oneness. So people, the baby or the children never just recognize anything else never recognize one. So they don't have any problem or question or suffering at all. Then this time come, and this time come, unfortunately. Never ask me why this comes. Never ask me. This is a natural thing. This is natural, the movement. Then this time come. Then kind of the function of recognition just start working, start moving. Then there is a separation between this and this. This totally causes trouble, question, suffering. Only this. So what doesn't? What doesn't need? We just go back to this time. Then you'll be able to realize what's caused us trouble. What's the other cause us trouble is. This is zazen. Only zazen. You'll be, but it will be, bring us this time, this moment. Then you'll be able to be completely clear what trouble is, what question is, because this time, before this time, we don't have any trouble, any question, you see, at all. Then after this time, after this moment, see? Kind of the function of recognition just start working. It's cause us trouble. You can make it clear. That is zazen. That is zazen. So if you can just do zazen, you'll be able to just encounter through yourself. Through yourself, only zazen you can do. In the same way that we don't know the existence of a human being or all the occurrences of the universe itself, we came into existence without knowing our own occurrences. Very great. We don't know much else what's going on here. Right now, see? Then, almost all the same time, you recognize death. See? Then, at the same time, she recognized death. Then, certain separation, discretion just happened between this and this. This is a cause. This causes question, trouble, whatever. Only this. Very clear. Very clear. There is a fact. There is a fact that what was born without knowing exists here and now. No, it's not. See, when I face this, there is no separation. There is no separation. It is almost same time we recognize that, recognize this. Then same time, almost same time you recognize this. The certain separation between this and this, which happens right now, right here. Right. Very clear. Then you just recognize this thing as so and so. Then you just recognize this as so and so. But before you recognize this thing, there is nothing exists at all. It's very clear. It's very understandable. It's very hard. Yes, I know much of this reality, this fact, for us, totally difficult to understand, even in concept. Yes. When I just met, when I met Jinen Roshi, he just taught me so and so. But I never, I never understood what he just talking, what he was talking about. Totally far beyond my concept. What he just mentioning, what he was mentioning, totally far beyond my concept. But at that time I have a trouble. I had a question. That's the reason why. If what again Roshi just mentioned about truth or reality right now, one in the 10,000, one in a 10,000. What he just mentioned is true. I have to do it. See, then I did. Yeah. To me, that was such a great experience. That's much. What Shakyamuni Buddha just realized is totally difficult for us to understand, even in concept. That's much our true self and what we think about the self is totally different. You never be able to imagine what true self is. That's much different. That's the reason we have to do it. There is a fact that what was born without knowing exists here and now, right now. Right now, no separation at the first come. See? No separation. See? There is no separation, is nothing exists at all. See? Then you recognize death. Certain separation just come out. See? This is after recognition. Before recognition, nothing happens. Nothing exists at all. Right. Okay. And in response to that fact, which came out without knowing it now, the more human beings recognize this body and mind as themselves, and the more they look at it from their own perspectives as to take issue with this body. See? When I face this, as I just mentioned, there is no separation. That's the reason we never be able to just recognize this one as ourselves. See? We don't know much about what it is, what this thing is. Then you recognize this. There is a separation between this and this. See? Otherwise you cannot recognize this thing. See? There is two things just happen as long as you just recognize the thing. One thing is things being recognized, and another thing is a person who just recognizes. Otherwise, you never be able to recognize anything. See? So once you just recognize this one just come out, then you just try to you just try to deal with or figure out what it is or that's causing you trouble. We don't need to figure out what it is. Because oneness, before recognition, oneness is itself. when I face this, I just become what I face. Oneness. So itself never be able to be aware of what it is. And it's not necessary to be aware of what it is. One. See? But people never understand oneness is, what oneness is. Because people just recognize this as ourselves. You see? Once you just separate from this, then you'll be able to just understand what Shakyamuni Buddha realized. See, that thing is a totally far beyond the concept. See, that's the reason. You just release or slowly you're thinking or thought as this doesn't we have to do. Otherwise we never be able to just realize who we are, what this thing is, See, this thing is totally different from what you think about self or ego. This is as Zen Master Dogen, the teachers, Zen Master Dogen teaches, this one is complete and universal. Not a human beings, not such a tiny thing. Complete and universal. Complete and universal is what you think about the universe, just come out on this body. So this body, this thing is much bigger than the universe, much bigger than the universe. Will be understandable? This thing is such a huge, tremendous, huge thing. That's your belonging. Very fortunate. That's your belonging. Congratulations. The thing is, even you have a kind of a tremendous huge thing, unless you can just use it, unless you can these things, unless you can use this thing, it's a totally in vain. So that what Shakyamuni Buddha or the patriarchs just ask us to make use of these things, see, as much as possible. Oh, yeah, of course, once you realize who you are, then you'll be able to make use of these things. As much as you want to. As much as you want. See, very great. Okay. Okay. The more human being recognize this body and mind as themselves, totally misunderstand. And the more they look at it from their own perspective as to take issue with this body. Very unfortunate. We don't need to just make it as a trouble. Thinking of this one as a trouble or question, I don't know. This is a complete and universal. Why people just think about this? This is this causes trouble or the question. Totally misunderstood. People don't know much about what this thing is. Unfortunately, people don't know much about what this is. As I just mentioned, such a huge, uncountable, incredible thing. Right. Not a human, because not a human body. This is Dharma. This is Dharma itself. Dharma body. Entire different scale. And different scale. Okay. Then the more contradiction and suffering arise. So as long as you just this as ourselves. See, as long as you just think about this thing as yourself, see, it causes you trouble. The more you think about this one as yourself, the more suffering, the suffering will just the proven come out. Right. So that's what people are totally misunderstanding. Totally. That's the reason people just have to just have a crazy trouble. That's it. That's causes problem. So people just think of this one is ourselves. This one. But this one is not what we think about the self and ego. See, this is a complete. This one is a complete universe. Right. Okay, and therefore, in order to get rid of this situation, we need to get rid of all human beings. This is why when you do zazen, the more thinking, whatever thinking or thought come out in your mind, simply just release them as it is. This is enough. This is what the Jinen Roshi just teach us. See? That's the reason. And therefore, that's the reason in order to get rid of this situation. See, this misunderstanding. Totally, we're just misunderstanding about this thing. See, so that or ourselves. See, so if you can just figure out this, the misunderstanding. See, we have to get rid of all human beings are thinking also, just slowly. Although it's easy to say, but totally difficult to do. So that even the Hyakamari Buddha or patriarchs took such a long time to completely release the thinking or others as they see. Although it takes us such a long time, see, this thing is such a valuable thing. So you have to do it. See, if you just have a great, if you have such a strong demand, the desire or aspiration, you can do it. You can do it. Then once you realize who you are completely free from everything. Completely free from everything. Entirely free from everything. We are everything. Our true self is everything. But completely separate from everything. This is a true ourself. We are everything, but completely separate from everything. What is it? What is it? This is our truth. Okay. Okay. However, this body and mind are not changed. You see, there is a what you call it. There is a kind of these things. Okay, there is this thing. Then these things is a tremendous, huge, tremendous the big one, large one. Then there is a kind of this thing that is a kind that has a kind of problem, creation or trouble. What's happening? See what I just mentioned about these kind of things. People thinking about there are two things just happen. One is a kind of complete and universal, and the other one having such a trouble and a problem. There is a total misunderstanding. Only one of them. These things. See, once you just completely release the thinking or thought, see, as you're gonna be such a huge existence. You're gonna be such a huge existence. However, as long as you just take care of the thinking or thought, you're such a tiny, you're such a tiny one. See, same, exactly this. See, exactly same the mind and body, but it's a totally different from between what I just mentioned about it. See, one is a totally huge, the other one is such as the one I just it's up to your choice. It's up to your choice. Okay. However, this Kazan-san, are you there? English. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Here you come. Here you come. I thought you had disappeared. Because time comes to sleep. No, thank you. Okay. However, this body's mind are not changed. Exactly the same as I just mentioned. Exactly what you just have kind of belonging this. But as long as you just take care of the thinking and thought, you never be able to realize this is such a huge, complete universe. See, but once you release the thinking of thought completely, see, then you will be able to realize, oh, this thing is a tremendous, tremendous. So we came into this world without knowing it. This is a fact. Right now, we don't know much about what's going on here. We don't know much what's going on here. See? Because we are always living in before recognition. See? What's happened with you after recognition? After recognition is just happening in your mind. Only in your mind. Nothing concerned with what's going on here. You'll never be deceived. What you're thinking about, so and so, it's just happening in your mind. Nothing concerns what's going on here. Nothing concerns what you're doing right now. You see, this is a very important thing. Never be deceived. Okay, and when you're touched with condition and one instant of the consciousness alive, for the first time, the boundary between human views and the movement of the mind become clear. This is enlightenment, what you call enlightenment. See, once you just become as you faced, there is no separation. There is no separation. You never just recognize. You never recognize which is which. You see? You never recognize which is it because of one. Because of one. Then something happened. A kind of what you call it, the thinking or thoughts come out in your mind. Then certain separation just happened. At this moment, you'll be able to just realize boundary between before recognition and after recognition. Then you'll be totally clear. This is enlightenment. See? There is a certain boundary between before recognition and after recognition. Then you'll be able to just realize, after recognition is a totally misunderstand. Yeah, totally is not true. You see, every aspect, everything is just finished before recognition. After recognition is not because the only happening in your mind. That's a creation of other thinking also. See, you never be deceived at all. Once you just realize this, that's the reason. That's the reason we have to do something. Yeah, you'll be able to just realize this kind of boundary, you see, between before recognition and after recognition. And once you just recognize before recognition, see, you never be deceived by what's going to happen in thinking also, or what's going to happen right now, right here. Because that's only creation of the thinking or thought, delusion. You can just make clear. This causes us trouble. This causes us question. Only that. There is nothing. There is nothing which causing us the question or trouble or the problem, suffering. See? Only this is only this misunderstanding cause you such a lot of trouble and question. You see, very fortunate, very fortunate. Nothing else. Nothing else. Only your thinking. Only your thinking of thought. That's what causes us question also. That's reality. The Shakyamuni Buddha or the Patriarchs just realize. That is enlightenment, or so-called enlightenment. But once you have to this experience. See, you never just find out. You never find out the disbanded before recognition, after recognition. So that's the reason you have to do that. Right. Okay. Then for the first time, the rules of causing ignorant evil passion is kind of such an expression. Then, see, as I just mentioned, once you just have this experience, then what you're thinking about, the trouble thinking, trouble question, suffering, totally cut off. Nothing what you think about trouble or the come out. Never. Really congratulations. Okay. It is definitely clear away. So you realize the true state of yourself, and it will become clear to you and say, oh, I see, I've been liberated from the beginning like this. See, from beginning, we are completely free from everything. You can just realize that nothing bothers us. Nothing bothers us. Right now, nothing bothers us. Completely free from everything. Such a wondrous state or condition we are living right now. No problem at all. No problem at all. I didn't need to go through my unnecessary produce. Unnecessary produce is thinking. We try to think about, we have to do unnecessary to do. Unnecessary to do. This is this kind of your belonging is a complete and universal. This is the complete and universal. You don't need to think about what you have to do. It's caused you trouble. See? That's the reason Jinen Roshi just teaching us. I didn't need to go through any unnecessary procedure. See, totally complete. Oh yeah, from beginning, we are totally complete and universal. This is realization of Shakyamuni Buddha or the patriarchs. So we have to do it. We have to do it. That's it. Even before we start practicing, everything is provided for us. Everything. That is complete. That is this one. Our true self is complete. So everything is provided. Nothing less, nothing more. Nothing less. Everything says, everything is provided for us. That's the reason the master slogan is to teach us our true self is complete and the universe, which is that is a way, that is through ourselves. See, So you don't need to worry. You don't need to worry about anything. However, you have to do that. You have to do that. Then you'll be able to realize what. Then you'll be able to encounter to yourself. See, otherwise if you just understand what the Shakyamuni Buddha or Patrick just teaches, it's totally in vain. Totally. You just do that. You just do that. What doesn't, whatever thinking or thoughts just come out in your mind, just simply release them as this is in that. Gary-san, congratulations. One square meter space is enough. Then you just say, if you have a kind of round cushion, that will be better. If not, no problem at all. They simply said, then whatever thinking or thought come out in your mind, just believe. Never try to deal with what it is. Simply because our activity, action, nothing concerned with thinking or thought. See, as the Zen Master Dogen just that's teaching. Universal activity, universal action, not human action, not human action or activity. Our activity, whatever we are doing right now, this activity or action is a universal. Such a huge activity or action. So you don't need to worry about anything. You don't need to worry about anything. You don't need to do anything. Just rely on. Just rely on this belonging. This belonging. Just belonging. This belonging is yours. This belonging is such a tremendous, reliable thing. Right. Very fortunate. Right. Thank you so much.
先生、どうもありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。メルシー僕、メルシー僕、ヘルシー。Thank you so much. So, the day after tomorrow, the day after, one more chance. I don't know. いいですか？はい。はい。